Have you ever wondered what hides in the places we think are ordinary? Three friends thought they were just experiment, but what awaited them was far from ordinary. This is the story of a basement that refused to stay quiet, and of darkness that never lets go. Scene 1. The Descent. It was a rainy, quiet afternoon. Ayan, Zain, and Sarah, three close friends, stood in front of an old, abandoned house. To the world it was just a faded building, nothing more. But its basement, everyone whispered about it. Some said it was empty. Some said it was cursed. The door to the basement was heavy, wooden, and old. Rusted hinges groaned as Ayan slowly turned the knob. The moment it opened, a wave of cold air hit them, sharper than the winter wind. "It's just a basement," Zain whispered, but his voice trembled. They ignored the warnings. The creaking stairs, the chilling air, the shadows that seemed to stretch farther than they should. Step by step, they descended, and behind them, the door slowly swung closed, almost on its own, leaving them alone in the darkness. The real game had begun. Scene 2. The Awakening. The floor was icy against their feet. Scattered toys lay everywhere, covered in layers of dust. A rocking horse, old and worn, swayed slightly, though no one touched it. Then they found a box labeled, "Don't open." Curiosity took over fear. Inside were tiny clothes, a cracked porcelain doll staring back at them with a faintly mocking smile, and an old family photo, yellowed with time. The basement was alive. A faint tapping came from the far corner. A giggle echoed softly, so faint they almost questioned if it was real. But it was. And it was waiting. Scene 3. The game changes. To calm their nerves, the friends decided to play hide and seek. But the basement had its own rules. A marble rolled across the floor on its own and stopped at Sarah's hiding spot. The air grew heavier. Whispers, like a child speaking in riddles, echoed around them. Every shadow seemed to stretch, twist, and move. Then the rocking horse slammed violently, rocking back and forth, as if an invisible child was riding it. The single light bulb flickered, and then went out. Darkness enveloped them completely. Absolute, suffocating, and in that darkness, the porcelain doll was standing upright, staring. Scene 4. The Child's Rumor. Their phones failed. Flashlights dimmed. They could hear something dragging across the floor. Whispering voices asked questions they couldn't understand. Sarah remembered a rumor. Years ago, a child had loved playing in this basement and then vanished. Never found. And now, it seemed the basement wanted new playmates. Scene 5. Escape and Consequences. The friends ran. Items fell off shelves, as if the basement itself were trying to hold them back. The doll's head twisted unnaturally to face Ayan, the tallest boy. With adrenaline and sheer terror, they raced up the stairs, slammed the door, and locked it. Silence returned, but the calm was deceptive. Darkness had found them. And it never forgets. Scene 6. The game continues. That night, Ayan woke to find the porcelain doll standing beside his bed. Zain discovered a dusty marble, slowly rolling out from his closet. Sarah, she heard faint giggles at the edge of her hearing, always when she was alone. The basement had chosen its new players. And darkness, once it chooses you, it never lets go. It follows. Silently, always waiting. Scene 7. Aftermath. The next morning, sunlight filtered weakly through their windows, but the shadows of last night clung stubbornly in their minds. Ayan couldn't shake the feeling that the porcelain doll was watching him even when it wasn't there. He tried to laugh it off, telling himself it was just a nightmare. But every reflection, every corner of the room seemed to shift as if alive. Zain, meanwhile, had placed the rolling marble into a drawer, but by evening it had inexplicably rolled back onto his desk, glinting in the lamplight like a tiny mocking eye. And Sarah, she felt eyes on her constantly. Even in school, in the cafeteria, at home. The giggles, the whispers, the feeling of being followed lingered. Something had left the basement, something that had chosen them. Scene 8. The Haunted Objects. Sound, subtle scratching, faint laughter, floorboards creaking. Narrator. The friends tried to rid themselves of the cursed objects. They packed the doll and toys into boxes, thinking that sealing them away would end the nightmare. But night after night, small, impossible things happened. A rocking horse they had left in the garage would be found swaying in the middle of the living room. The marble rolled silently across floors at times when no one was home. Doors creaked open by themselves, and faint tiny footsteps echoed down hallways. It became clear, these weren't just toys. They were extensions of the basement itself. And the basement? It was patient. Scene 9. The whispering escalates. Sound. Whispering gets louder, almost intelligible, soft wind blowing. Narrator. As days passed, the whispers grew clearer. Ayan could swear he heard his name being called softly at midnight. Zayn felt tiny fingers brush past his arm, though no one was there. Sarah's dreams were filled with shadows moving just beyond reach, always beckoning, always waiting. The friends tried to speak about it, but words failed them. Their parents shook their heads. Children's imagination, they said. But when a group of children came to play in the old house nearby, they felt the air shift. The shadows thickened, as if the basement itself was alive, watching, waiting for the next curious souls. Scene 10. A warning. Sound. Heartbeat like percussion. Low, suspenseful hum. Narrator. And so, the basement waits. Empty to the untrained eye. But for those who dare to enter, it remembers. It moves. It chooses. And once it has chosen, it never lets go. The porcelain doll is patient. The marble rolls silently. The rocking horse sways, even when no one is there. And the whispers? They are growing louder, calling to the brave, the curious, the careless. So the next time you see a quiet, abandoned basement, remember the story of Ayan, Zayn, and Sarah. Remember the basement that moved? And maybe, just maybe, consider leaving it alone. Extended outro. Sound. Creepy ambient music fades, soft whisper. Play with us. Narrator. Curiosity is a powerful thing, sometimes too powerful. Some doors, once opened, can never truly be closed. And some basements never stop watching. End screen cue. Subscribe for more chilling story times. बिल्कुल. अब मैं इस स्टोरी को और आगे एक्सपैंड करके ईके सीक्वल हुक और ऑडियंस एंगेजमेंट सेगमेंट ऐड कर सकता हूँ, जो व्यूअर्स को सस्पेंसफुल क्लिफहैंगर और नेक्स्ट वीडियो के लिए इंट्रिग दे। यह 3 to 5 मिनट का कंटेंट ऐड करेगा और YouTube स्टोरी टेलिंग स्टाइल के लिए परफेक्ट है। They thought it was just a basement. Until it moved. Sequel hook and engagement. Strange happenings continue. Even weeks later, life seemed normal, but nothing truly was. Ayan would find the doll in places he had never left it, on a chair, by the window, sometimes even in the fridge. Zayn's marble collection began moving on its own, forming patterns he couldn't understand. Sarah's dreams had turned into long, vivid sequences of the basement, as if it were pulling her back, inviting her, urging her to return. It became clear. The basement didn't just want players. It wanted attention. And it was learning. Watching, waiting for the moment someone would come back. Scene 12. The new visitors. One rainy evening, a group of neighborhood kids stumbled near the abandoned house. They dared each other to knock on the door, thinking it would be a funny adventure. And somewhere deep inside the basement, the shadows stirred. The toys shuffled slightly. The rocking horse began to rock slowly. The marble rolled, and a whisper, soft but clear, carried through the walls. Play with us. The basement had found new potential, and the game was about to continue. Scene 13. A message for the audience. Sometimes stories like these aren't just stories. Sometimes they are warnings. If you ever see a quiet, abandoned basement or a doll that seems too lifelike, think twice before touching it. Because curiosity can be dangerous. Final outro / cliffhanger. Sound. Creepy laughter fades into silence, then a single soft tap. Narrator. And maybe, just maybe, the basement is already watching you. End screen cue. Subscribe and turn on notifications for more chilling story times if you dare.